Hi everybody, my name is Chase Kelly, and before I do any more YouTube videos, I figured I should let you know a little bit about myself, since I just went into this without even letting you guys know anything. I am 13 years old. I live in Niles, Michigan, with my amazing little brother, my stepmom, my dad, and however many horses I got, like 12. I have 4 goats, dogs, cats. I do fair. But before I get into now, I'm going to start way back to as far as I can remember. So, when I was born in Bluffton, Indiana, a small town south of Fort Wayne. And it was me, my dad, and my mom. And I'll let you know more about the rest of my family later on. But my mom, she was a druggie. She didn't do anything. She always sold my stuff so she can buy drugs. She neglected me. She would always be having parties, wouldn't take care of me. I guess, she would let me outside, have other people watch me, and be in her room smoking pot. So, after a little bit, my dad divorced her, and it was just me and my dad for a while, and, we always were doing stuff together, and my dad kept trying to find a girlfriend so maybe he could eventually marry because all I wanted was a mom and a little sibling. So, he kept trying to bounce around to try to find the perfect person, and, during the time, I was really, really close with my grandma, grandpa, uncle, aunt, and I was the closest with my uncle, or I'm sorry, my grandpa. The next person was my uncle, and so me and my grandpa always did stuff together. I always remember us doing stuff, and when I was like 3 years old. He got diagnosed with cancer. And they said he had 3 months to live. Well, he lived for 3 years. And when I was 6 years old, we were on vacation to Lake Wawasee. I don't know if you remember. I'm sorry. I don't know if you know where that is or anything. But, so we were all out there. It was me, my dad, my aunt, uncle, my other aunt, my grandpa, grandma. And, me, my uncle, aunt, and my dad went out tubing. Well, when we came back, my other aunt came out. She was crying, and, said that Grandpa was really sick. So we went in there. There was the ambulance. There was doctors there. Had him hooked up to oxygen tanks. And, so we got home, and it was about a 3-hour drive, and they shooed me into the living room because they didn't want me to see all that. So I just remember playing on the Wii, and my dad came in, and he was crying, and I tried to comfort him, and then next thing that came out of his mouth was, "Grandpa's dead." Sorry. And so that was really, really bad for me. I took it really, really, really hard. I've been having problems ever since. So a couple months later, my dad met a really, really, really nice woman named Gina Lusk, and the more and more time we spent together, the more and more we liked each other. And eventually we moved out here to Niles, Michigan. And it was great, We had our horses, we had our dogs. She travels the U.S. showing dogs. So we went around the U.S. and I think it was a year later, I got home from school. My mom was crying, my dad was laughing, And my mom looked at me and she said, "Your dad just proposed." It was amazing. So, a year later, on September 19th of 2011, they got married. I was the best man. It was awesome. So, anyway, a couple years later, I think it was a year or two later, I was taking care of all the show dogs, the horses, and my dad was messing around and he locked me outside. And they were inside, and then they went outside. And I was in the backyard, they were in the front yard. And they kept yelling for me, and I kept yelling back, saying that I'm locked outside, I can't get inside. And so I finally got it all figured out. Went out to the front yard, and my mom and dad were both crying. I was like, "Oh no, what's wrong?" So I was like, "Are you okay? What's wrong?" And they said, "Your mom is pregnant." I couldn't have been happier. I was jumping all around, making myself look like a complete idiot. So I think it was 4 or 5 months later. We found out what gender my little brother was, and obviously it was a boy. So we were gonna wait for a couple days to before we told our other family, and so we waited a couple days, and we got a call from my other grandpa, my stepmom's dad. And we found out that my grandma was had lung cancer, I think. And we got a call, and we found out that she died over the night. And it was actually around the time that we were going to tell them that it was a boy, because my grandma really, really wanted to know. I'm sorry, I need to pull this down. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So, we all found out about that, and then, my mom, my biological mom, she started wanting visitations again. So, we got it all worked out. We got every other weekend I went with her for 24 hours. And they were supposed to be supervised, and they were for a little bit. And then after a while, it just got really, really bad. They didn't really care. My biological mom, she didn't really care about the supervision. So she just took me to her place, her boyfriend, and me. And we still had visitations and all that. And she was always telling me really bad stuff about my dad and just getting me awfully mad at him. And by the time I would come back from visitations, I was horrible for the next 2 weeks. And then by the time it would seem like I was going back, or by the time it seemed like I was calming down, I had to go back. So it was just a vicious cycle. Excuse me. And so after that, after about 3 years of that, we stopped visitations, and it was so much better. And then my family down in Bluffton, they started treating us like crap, so we don't see them anymore. And but we still have some family down in Bluffton. My great aunt and great uncle and cousins that we're all still friends with. So we go down there for a winter break during the summer to the lake cottage that they own. And that's about it for our family. And then my stepmom's family, they're still kind of with us. My grandpa's not doing so well. My aunt doesn't really talk to us as much anymore. I don't know why. My uncle, me and my uncle don't really get along. And so a couple years later, up to last year, I started fair. I do two horses in the Berrien County Youth Fair. It's amazing. It was my first year. I kept being told I was a natural at this and that I should keep doing it. So here we are now. I'm in 8th grade and I'm still working up for fair. I'm getting excited. August 14th through the 19th this year is when fair starts. So, yeah, that's it. Not really much to know except for that. Thank you. Bye.